Let's bring in Congressman Matt Gaetz, Republican from Florida, and a member of the Judiciary Committee, which held one of the two Mueller hearings yesterday. Congressman, thank you very much, sir, for joining us this morning.
Thanks for having me.
My pleasure. Let me start by playing for you, sir, instances where the former special counsel directly contradicted President Trump on the Russia probe. Watch this.
I have President Putin. He just said it's not Russia.
They're doing it as we sit here.
It's not an interference. They have information. I think I'd take it.
I hope this is not the new normal, but I fear it is.
This just came out. WikiLeaks. I love WikiLeaks.
How do you react to that?
It's probably problematic is an understatement.
It's a whole big fat hoax. It's just a hoax.
No, it's not a hoax.
It's a total witch hunt.
It is not a witch hunt.
All right, sir, so you heard there Bob Mueller contradicting the president on several points. Democrats, they may not have gotten their, quote, smoking gun moment, but wouldn't you also agree, sir, that what we just heard there from Robert Mueller is damaging to the president as well?
Well, disagreeing with Robert Mueller isn't an impeachable offense. Let's remember where the goalposts were. At the beginning of the week, Adam Schiff said that Robert Mueller would be breathing life into the Mueller report. Instead, what you saw yesterday was Robert Mueller sucking the life out of the impeachment movement altogether. Republicans are very happy with how it went. There seemed to be no new information. And when you heard Speaker Pelosi earlier in your broadcast say, well, we have to wait to build a strong case, it seems to presuppose that the case right now isn't strong. The fact that they have to continue their investigative activities seems to suggest that Democrats do not believe that there is sufficient evidence in the Mueller report or from Mueller's testimony yesterday to impeach the president. And by the way, 6 out of 10 Americans agree with him. Nothing that you saw yesterday is going to change the underlying political dynamic, which is that the country wants the House Democratic majority to move on.
All right, so help us reconcile this. On one hand, the Republicans, including the president, tout the fact that the Mueller report has exonerated him, but at the same time, you attacked Mueller, you attacked the report, you question its credibility, and here we are at a point where you can't have it both ways. How do you use the report to make the defense and the claim that the president has been exonerated, and at the same time, you're questioning the credibility of that very same report and the person who put it together?
Well, I was questioning the choices that were made by the Mueller team to highlight certain contacts within their purview and then ignore others. Here's what I still don't understand, Eamon. How is it within Robert Mueller's purview to write 3,500 pages when a Russian lawyer meets with the Trump team, and then it's outside of Robert Mueller's purview to make any mention of the very same Russian lawyer meeting with Democrat operatives the day before and the day after she met with the Trump team? So those choices are worthy of criticism, even though at the end of the day, Robert Mueller does clear the president on the issue of a criminal conspiracy with the Russian Federation and made no decision on obstruction. That decision then had to be made by someone, so it was made by the Attorney General and the Deputy Attorney General. So no charges against the president, no articles of impeachment against the president, just a lot of Democrats.
And a decision, if I may say, Congressman, that is very questionable, the way the Attorney General and the Deputy Attorney General decided not to bring those charges.
Questionable to who? He's the head of the Department of Justice.
Very questionable. I think members on the other side of the aisle would disagree with the way Bob Barr handled that particular issue and conclusion of the findings of that report.
I think they just didn't like the result.
Let me ask you, sir, looking forward, sir, Doug Collins, the ranking member of the Judiciary Committee, he's called for hearings on Russian meddling in our election. I want to first get your thoughts. Do you agree with the findings of the Mueller report that Russia interfered in our election and continues to do so till this day?
Yes, and it's one of the reasons why I've joined in bipartisan legislation with Florida Democrat Stephanie Murphy to create better connectivity among our supervisors of elections, our departments of state, and Homeland Security. Russia is not our friend. They are a malign actor. They view our election system as a vulnerability, and I am grateful that while it doesn't always make the cable news shows, there are Republicans and Democrats working together on nonpartisan solutions to this growing challenge.
But you, sir, voted against the election security bill just last month.
That bill had a lot more in it. That bill was sort of like the Democrat guaranteed re-election bill. There's other legislation that has broader bipartisan support that doesn't engage in
okay, well, you say
that
Russia is a malign actor and that you want to hold them accountable for that. The leader of your party, the president in the White House, said he would possibly welcome information and help from the Russians in the 2020 election. What do you have to say to him about that?
I think that was one interpretation of his remarks. I think
well,
later
what
he
other
clarified
interpretation
that he would talk
is
to
there
the
when he is asked about it. What other
In the very
interpretation?
same paragraph that you're citing, the president said he would probably refer that information to the FBI as well. So I think you heard the president and the vice president say that they would give that information well, I think it's a different time. We know a lot more now about Russia's malign activity than we knew at that time. And remember, it was the Obama administration that made a strategic choice not to share with the country
Senate
all
Leader
that was
Mitch
going
McConnell
on.
who didn't want to act on the risks and the threats that were brought forward by the Obama administration.
I'm not here to defend Mitch McConnell. I'm
No,
here to
but you're
criticize
making
the
a case
Obama
saying that
administration
this
for not doing
administration,
enough.
you're making a case saying that this administration is taking the Russia threat seriously, and when we take a look at what...
Look, I said I'm taking the Russia threat seriously. I'm saying the Congress is. I'm saying that we're taking bipartisan activity here, and I do see people in the Department of Homeland Security that are working with our election officials in real time.
All right, so explain to us why you voted against that bill last month, the election security bill.
Yeah, I think it went too far in federalizing elections. I think the far more sensible approach is the one that has emanated from the leader of the Blue Dog Democrat Caucus, Stephanie Murphy, that doesn't put the heavy hand of the federal government on our state and local partners, but instead encourages them to collaborate with us on the challenges that they see and face and ensuring that we have more accurate reporting. If we have accurate reporting, we'll be able to ensure the integrity of the vote, which is, I think, the concern of most Americans.
All right, let me sort of get your thoughts on one final issue, and that is the budget. As you know, the House votes today on a budget bill that will essentially raise the debt ceiling. President Trump tweeting out the president just within the last hour or so. Here he is there. You see it on your screen. I'll read it to you. It says, House Republicans should support two-year budget agreement, which greatly helps our military and our vets. I'm totally with you. Explain this one to us, because Republicans position themselves as fiscally responsible, hawkish on large deficits and large debt. This is going to do exactly that. It is going to expand the deficit, expand the debt. Are you going to support it?
No, I'm not. I appreciate that the president wants to prioritize our military and our veterans. No member of Congress represents more troops than I do, so I'm very grateful for that. But we should not be sucking $1 trillion out of the national economy to fund the largesse of government. The sickest bipartisanship that we ever get in this town is when Republicans and Democrats hold hands to shuttle our challenges financially onto the next generation with interest. So I'm not going to vote for this budget deal.
Are you going to stand up to the president
and
are you going to stand up to the president and tell him it is a bad budget and tell him to veto it?
Mr. President, this is a really bad budget. I'm not going to support it, and I don't think anyone else should either.
All right, Congressman Matt Gaetz, sir, I appreciate your candor and your time. Thank you very much.
Thank you.